Served as Camp Pendleton Marine, and he now believes that his PTSD diagnosis was exploited after he was sold a pricey motorcycle in the middle of a severe PTSD episode.
And this is a potentially groundbreaking legal case that will put PTSD on center stage. 10 News reporter Michael Chen reveals what the man calls obvious clues he was in no condition to buy.
A Camp Pendleton Marine deployed with Special Forces in Afghanistan. Brett Smith saw plenty of combat. Just before leaving the Marines in 2010, he began suffering daily panic attacks, nightmares, and other issues, and was eventually diagnosed with PTSD and a traumatic brain injury. This past April, after 5 days of not sleeping, he says he began hallucinating.
And I would have conversations with my wife, even though she wasn't there.
Smith, who was unemployed, says he suddenly decided he had to buy a Harley and drove to a dealership in Irvine.
I know I was sweating. I know I was talking fast. I know I was jittery.
Smith says the salesman asked if he was okay and gave him water for medication. Smith says he told the salesman he had severe PTSD and planned to immediately ride to Georgia with no motorcycle license. After several hours, Smith signed a loan agreement for the nearly $17,000 Harley.
According to Smith, after he signed on the dotted line, the salesman then said riding the bike could possibly ease his PTSD symptoms. Smith then drove off with his new bike.
The next day, he saw the bike.
I didn't know if I was having a delusion. I didn't know if I was asleep and I was dreaming.
Soon after, Smith was hospitalized in a psychiatric facility for 10 days. He's now suing the dealership to get the deal canceled. His attorney, Dan Gillian, claims the dealership took advantage of his condition. It may be among the first ever cases involving PTSD and an allegedly unfair purchase.
Did he understand the concept of signing your name? Yes. But did he understand the big picture? And the answer was clearly no.
Some would say you simply have buyer's remorse, that you're using PTSD as an excuse. How do you respond?
If you don't know you're doing something, then that's not buyer's remorse. It's definitely outrageous. They just wanted that sale.
Michael Chen, 10 News.
Smith says his family members tried to return the bike the day after and were told to call the financing company within 5 days. So they called within 4 days and say they were told they should have called earlier. The sale was final. The dealership has declined to comment.